Welcome back to another video here on Nonstop Driving. And what's perfect for this kind of winter condition? An Audi Quattro. Right here we have the A4 Avant 45 TFSI S-Tronic in the Quattro version of the A4, which we're going to take a look at. We're going to launch from 0 to 60, we're going to do a test drive, we're going to show you all the interior, and let's get into the video. Okay, so let's talk about the back first, because most Americans are going to be a little bit jealous of the European market because we have the Avant, which the Americans don't. What we have down here, as you can definitely see, is we have the S-Line package from the outside, as well as the black trim, or the black package plus kit, which makes the Audi logo black. Also, all the chrome touches are going to be black. We also have our Quattro logo in here. And then further down, we can definitely see that we have the S-Line package because of the diffuser, which is way more aggressive. We also have the our exhausts, which are, well, not fake, but they are not as big as they seem once you're actually in there. They're pretty tiny, so you can see on the close-up. And then further up, we also have our tinted window and a little bit of a spoiler up here. We also have our LED lights, which we're going to look at a little bit more when we move on to the side, because they do look pretty nice. The color that we have here is the District Green color, which is a lovely color. I'm not the biggest fan when it's pretty bright outside, because it looks a little bit, it doesn't look that nice as when it's a little bit more cloudy and a little bit darker. I think it looks really good for that. You can again see that we have the black package because we have all the chrome touches again in black. We have tinted rear windows, and we also have our keyless go and keyless entry. And these open a little bit weird. Like you can see, they go up instead of like pulling out. Our side mirrors are also in black. That's another option you can get. And again, we have the S-Line package on this side. Our wheels are 18 inches. You can also get 19 inches. These are obviously winter tires, so they're not going to look as nice. We also have our red brake calipers, which looks very nice. I don't know if you really need them on this kind of color of the car, but if you have a black car or something like that, I think they would stand out way more. Looking at the front, we do have our LED matrix lights, which are wonderful. Matrix lights obviously always amazing, but that's going to cost you a little bit extra. And again, you can definitely see that we have the S-Line package because we have more aggressive things on the sides. We have a more aggressive grille and some nice lips down here, as well as this controversial kind of intake as it looks, but it doesn't actually intake anything, just a little lip below the hood. I think it looks pretty decent, but a lot of people don't like it. So the back of the Audi A4 is also very similar to the front, well, when it comes to the interior, because you have the seats, which are basically the same as in the front. That is obviously due to the fact that we have the S-Line interior with all your red stitches in here as well, and they just feel very comfortable. You have a good amount of room in your front. You also have a good amount of feet room, unlike in the Kia EV6 that we had, and also headroom is plenty and enough. If you're over, I think 6'2", I think you might hit the roof, but other than that, it's fairly decent. The seats in front, they have a pretty good amount of hard plastic down here, which is not the nicest. You also have a little bit of a storage space in here. You have a center console for your climate control, where you can change it individually, and you also have a charging port down here, which is going to cost you 75 euros extra if you actually want to have a charging capability in the back. You can also fold over the middle seat. You have your cup holders in here, which are fairly small, but they have a cool design and they are pretty firm. And you also have this little cup in here, which I don't know really what you want to put in there, maybe like the smallest tablet in the world. But other than that, I don't know what you really want to put in there. You can also flip this fully over by pulling up on the top, and then you can pull this all the way down, and you have a very big pass-through where you can fit lots of skis, even like 2 snowboards in there, which is very nice. Also with the business package, you also get this in the back, which is a nice little sun visor, so you have a more comfortable back if it's very bright outside. So you can just pull it up and pull it back down. So under the hood, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 265 horsepower and 370 Newton meters of torque. This is going to cost you 53,000 euros if you want to get it exactly like this. The lowest option you get for the motor is 150 horsepower, which is going to start you at 38,000 euros with a non-automatic gearbox or a manual gearbox. You could also get a diesel option with a V6, which is a pretty nice option, with 285 horsepower, even though I'm not the biggest fan of a diesel, but it has a V6. This is also powered with the mild hybrid system, which we can see in the back, which we'll look at in a second. If you're interested in this exact model that we have right here, it's going to cost you 73,000 euros because we have 19,000 euros of extra options in here. In here we have 495 liters of storage, and you have a pretty high roof because it's obviously the Avant. If you flip over the seats, which you can do on the sides, as you can see, you have to actually flip them over if you're in the inside, you're going to have 1,495 liters. So you have plenty of room in here, and we also have our mild hybrid system down here. The battery is not big, but it basically helps with your fuel economy, and you can't really feel it while you're driving. It only works, or it only charges via recuperation, so if you're braking, and you can't charge it via an external cable or anything like that. But it just helps you with a little bit of fuel economy, which is pretty nice. So let's take a look at the interior. What we have in here is obviously the interior as well in the S-Line package, as well as the business package. The interior with the S-Line package makes it just look a little bit more sporty. You get some more sportier seats, the sport seats, which are kind of bucket seats, which feel very, very nice. They have also a very nice material on it, and the red stitching in here is fabulous all across. Steering wheel as well. Steering wheel is absolutely amazing. It just feels very nice, and again on the steering wheel it also says S-Line, just so you know that you have the S-Line interior. One thing I'm not a big fan of is the black piano all around the middle console. That is basically, it looks good at the start, but after a while it just has so many scratches on it. You can see every single dirt in there and dust. The gear selector is very nice, I always love that. It just makes it feel way more like high quality and stuff like that. You also have 2 cup holders in here, and also USB port up in the front, so you can charge your phone, and also your start stop button right in there. With the business package you also get your wireless charging port right in here, which is fairly decent. And you also have an infotainment system, which is a little bit older. Well, it looks already a little bit old, but it works. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It works fairly decent. We also have a 3-zone climate in here, which is an extra you can get for the climate control, where I like the buttons. You can just like hover over them and you can see what you're selecting. Like if you go over the AC, you can see, okay, I'm over that now. And if I go down, I can go into eco, off and on. And you can pull it up obviously, and you can just change it. I like how it has like this touch sensitive control to it, but it's actually still a physical button. You also have your rotary dials and your heated seats for your passenger and also your main seat. The main seat has automatic seat control, and on the side only has manual. You could also get that in the full automatic as well. We have our virtual cockpit in here, which is also a feature that you have to buy, as well as the heads-up display up on top. On the side we also have some controls for our side mirror, so you can put them automatically, you can fold them in by just pulling it over, and they're also heated. The quality here is also very nice. You have some nice like Alcantara on the side, which feels very good, and then further down is obviously plastic, just like in most models. But I think the quality in general in the Audi is just very nice on the front, and just looks very nice with the interior. So I'm a big fan of that. So welcome to the winter wonderland of Kassel. Look at that beautiful snow outside. I know it's not much snow for maybe some Americans out there, but let's take the car for a spin. So first of all, you notice obviously we do again also have a heads-up display, which is an optional thing. One thing that is not the coolest thing about it, if you're a little bit too low, it's going to be cut off. So if you like to sit lower, you might not see the kilometer sign at the very bottom, and you can't really change that in the infotainment system as well. So on the steering wheel, there's a couple of different options. You obviously have a heated steering wheel as well if you opt out for that. The heated steering wheel is not the best thing. It is, well, it heats, but it doesn't heat that well, and when it heats, it takes a long time to heat up, and then you can't really feel the difference between is it heated or not heated. So in my opinion, it's not really that worth it. You can also change the view of the So you can also change the view of the digital cockpit in here with the buttons on the side, and also the view, so you can change between your kilometers, how much you've driven, how much your fuel consumption is. You can see the map in there as well, which I like. I always love to see the map in there. It's also powered by Google, so you have Google Maps and you just get satellite pictures in there as well, which is cool. You also have different views, so you can have like a view of that, so you can see the map better, and you can change up between every single tab that you have. So it just changed that a little bit. You can also change it in the infotainment display. So we can change between the Classic, the S Performance, and the Dynamic. So let's go into the S Performance, which can change to like a more dynamic thing. So if you're trying to hit the red line, it's the more sporty one. And we also have the Dynamic one, which again, I don't know, I don't really like this one that much. I just like the Classic the most. So if you're interested in that, you can change that, and you can also configure it to your likings. Another nice thing that you can definitely feel in this car, the suspension is very nice. This has the opted comfort suspension, which has the dampers in there as well, and you can really feel, if you're just going in comfort mode, it just feels very smooth. All the bumps are evenly out or matched out. It just feels very comfortable driving with it. Compared to the Kia EV6 that we had, that was a little bit more firmer setup, obviously a little bit more of a sporty drivetrain, but this one feels very nice. It's very comfortable for just driving. We did a 2-hour ride yesterday, and there were people sleeping in the back because it's so comfortable. One thing I like is on the side of your blinkers on the top, there's a button which you can press and it'll turn off or on your lane assist, and if you turn off the car and go back into it, it'll keep it on whatever you had it set previously. which is amazing. Lots of cars don't have that function. I really like that. We'll go into the dynamic mode here in a second. One thing I don't like about switching into the modes is that you have to be down here in the drive select. There's no other button where you can actually choose it, and that makes it a little bit unfortunate because you go down here and then you press it. It's kind of it just feels unnatural going all the way down there to change it. So we have efficiency, comfort, auto, and dynamic, and you can also set up the individual mode if you're into that. So let's go into the dynamic mode, which has the beautiful racing lines on the sides as well. It'll obviously make just like in any other car. It'll upshift later. It'll have a more direct steering wheel. The suspension, if you obviously have the dampers in there, it'll be more aggressive. But obviously with the all-road, the Quattro package, it just feels very nicer. And there you go. Top speed of it is also 250. The engine sound, it sounds okay. I mean, there's not much to it. Obviously, it's not an S-Line or an RS. So you're gonna get from 0 to 100 in around 5.7 seconds. We'll test out right now. So Audi claims 5.7 seconds from 0 to 100. With the 265 horsepower, we're gonna be able to see what we can get. We are also going to go into our dynamic mode. So it's the most sporty that you can have. And we're also gonna turn off traction control by going in here and then holding it down. So we have everything off, which is going to allow us to use launch control. There we go. It's not going to be the most accurate reading because we're going to have to turn here a little bit. So there we go. So let's go and foot on the brake. So 5.5 seconds, the slope was 1.9%, so there's a little bit of a slope and I had to turn a little bit. So 5.5, that's already a very good rating. Considering you're also going upslope 2%, which is a pretty fair amount. So we're gonna do it one more time and see what we can get. 5.5 seconds, I think that's the best we're gonna get. That was only a slope of 1.5 this time, so we probably would be able to get down to 5.3, something like that. So that is some very nice measurements for the amount that Audi says. 5.7, obviously Audi's always a little bit generous when they're saying 5.7, but you can always get a little bit more out of it. That's actually the fastest time we've been able to get. The other ones were around 5.7, but that was with a slope of around 3.2%. So I'm very happy with 5.5 seconds, and the shifts are just so aggressive when you shift up. It's very, very nice. Look at this prime example of a German road. Let's just kick it through here very nicely, because you can just go so nicely, so sporty between these corners. Turn in, get your foot on the gas straight afterwards. It's just perfect acceleration out of the corners. With that Quattro, it just makes it so much easier. Turn in, and it just sticks to the corner as well. So the isolation in the car is also very well done. When you're driving over the road, because of its great suspension, you're not going to feel that much bumps. You don't feel that much, or you don't hear that much tire noise. The wind is not that much. It's pretty quiet in here, which is nice. So we have a fuel tank of 58 liters with an estimated fuel consumption of around 7.5 liters up to 8.1. We've been able to get 900 liters, 9 liters in the last 890 kilometers. Obviously that's a couple of hours on the Autobahn, or a couple of kilometers on the Autobahn, so that fuel consumption is going to vary, but you're going to be able to get around 700 kilometers with the vehicle, which is fairly decent. The turning radius of this car is also the exact same as the Kia EV6 that we had in the last video, so 11.6 meters, which again, it doesn't feel that big, much as the Kia did, just because the car just is a little bit lower and just makes you feel a little bit nicer in it, or more comfortable. Like as soon as you get into the car, it just feels so comfortable. The side mirrors are also, one thing I realized is that the side mirrors are fairly small, or they just look small. Maybe that's because we've been driving a lot of SUVs and they just feel small compared to that, but that's one thing you might have. The view out of the back is also fairly decent. You have a pretty big window in the back, obviously because it's an Avant, so it's going to be a little bit more steep in there, and in general you have a pretty good view in here. I don't know what that guy is doing. Yeah, so let's put foot down. And there you go. Overtaking is also no problem in this car. It just pulls very nicely. You also obviously have, if you're driving in the city, we have a rear view camera with detection on the side, so you can't crash into anything. It's a fairly decent quality, not the best, not the worst. It'll do its job. For my final verdict, I would personally not get exactly the same version that you have right here. I think the A4 in its base price at 38,000 is a very good car and a very viable car with great quality and stuff like that, and a great boot space as well. But for 73,000, I'd rather, if you want to spend all that money, just get the S4, or even if you want to spend some more, the RS4. But I wouldn't get exactly this model with that much added. But it's a great car to drive. It's very reliable with the Quattro, especially in the winter. It's very fun to drive. So I'd recommend getting this car if you're interested in kind of a family Avant car. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to stay tuned for upcoming videos, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.